Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of our Podium Picks. On today's episode, we give our first, second, third place Spirit of the Games and Dark Horse Awards to Tommy, our favorite breakfast cereals. And this was not easy.
Oh, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure I just made it. I made a change while I was going to the bathroom.
Did you? Yes. Okay. We took a little break here. And all right. So this is, I'm going down to the wire here.
Mm-hmm.
Did I start last time?
I think you did.
Okay, so I will let you do your Dark Horse and then your Spirit of the Games award, and then we will get into the nitty gritty here.
Okay, so this was tough.
Okay,
and I'm going to preface this by saying I sent my picks because we wanted to keep them blind from one another.
Yeah,
I sent them to Tiffany, and she responded to me, and she goes, your picks are interesting.
I just showed the list of, like, I just brainstormed some cereals, and my wife just went, "God, you were a fat kid." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
We're about to start World War C on here. So, all right. So my dark horse for me, honeycomb.
Ooh, I had that on my list. That's
Okay.
a good one.
Yes.
That's a really good one.
Because honeycomb, in my opinion, is one of the best. And there's a couple different categories of cereal. It holds milk really well.
Yes.
It takes a long time for it to get really soggy and all that stuff. So you can maintain some of that crunch.
Mm-hmm.
I vary depending on how big I want the pieces to be, but that's a nice kind of, it's on the larger size in terms of breakfast cereal pieces.
Yeah. Spoonful is like maybe 3 or 4 pieces.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I don't want the full, like, massive frosted wheat, but honeycomb, nice one. And it was a dark horse for me because that's one that, like, me and my brother, every once in a while, my mom would, like, grab it and be like, "Oh, I forgot."
I know. I got some of those recently. I was like, "This is a good cereal."
Yeah,
like, I miss this stuff.
You forget about it.
It is good.
It had like that. They have like a bear, right? It's like a weird
It's a
looking.
honey bear.
It's a honey bear. Yeah, that's their.
No, wait. I thought it was a bee. Wasn't it a bee? I could be totally wrong with it. My Saturday morning cartoon.
Bees definitely Cheerios.
Oh, that's right. Cheerios. That's right. You're okay. Yeah, you're right. I think
it's like
a
weird looking bear.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it's like, it doesn't look like the most normal bear.
Right. Okay. So that's your dark horse.
That's my dark horse.
Let's go Spirit of the Games.
So this actually swapped last minute.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Originally, my Spirit of the Games was any bagged cereal, and this is a shout out to all those people that are on the grind and don't necessarily get the nice cereal, and they got to go out that bottom rung and get those bagged knockoff
I like
cereals,
that.
right? There are times when growing up,
cereal ain't cheap.
It's not cheap. And there were times growing up where, you know what, we're saving some money or trying to be a little bit more conscious, and we opt for the bag cereal, and there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't taste the same, but
I like
still.
That.
But I wanted to go to something more true to the spirit of the games.
So that was your original one.
That was my original one. I swapped it out.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Alphabets cereal.
Ooh, good one.
So this is my dad's favorite cereal.
Alphabets?
Alphabets.
Really?
Oh, man.
I wouldn't picture your father as an alphabet.
It's funny. He has these interesting tastes, if you will. But Alphabets to me, and I remember because my grandpa was in the military. My dad was in the military. And so we used to be able to, and my mom did the grocery shopping for my grandfather when he got older. And so we shopped at the commissary. The military, which is the military grocery store, if you're not familiar with it and you're listening, on base in Fort Ord. And you can only go one way.
Yeah, but that's what I like about that.
Oh, yeah.
Organized.
I love it. But it was one of the only places that carried Alphabets after like 1995.
Mm-hmm.
And so anytime we went to the commissary, we always got a box of Alphabets, and my dad would love it. And it's funny because then later on down the line, Cheerios came out with like frosted Cheerios, but really all it was the alphabet cereal. They only just kept the O's.
Yeah.
They got rid of every other letter, right?
Well played, Cheerios.
Yeah. So and I just always remember that as like that was my dad's cereal. He loved it.
All right.
And I hadn't had it in like maybe a decade.
Yeah.
And my mom found it somewhere at some random grocery store, and they still had it. And I was over at the house. And me, my dad, and my brother, she bought like 2 or 3 boxes and went through 2 of them that night.
Oh, yeah.
Me and my brother and my dad just crushed it. I forgot how good it was. And it reminded me, that was like, it's like the family. Yeah.
All right.
Alphabets.
Those are good picks.
Yeah.
Okay. Pressure's on now. I got it. So you started with your dark horse. I will start with my dark horse. And this one, I had to just kind of go with my gut, like just what stood out. My dark horse, Apple Jacks.
Ooh, that was a close one.
Apple Jacks to me are just like, and I think same reason for many of the same reasons you picked honeycombs is that they have a good crunch factor, I think, to them. And this is, and again, I like dry cereal. For those of you who don't, I don't like to put a whole lot of milk on it. I just like to put it in a bowl and just snack. But Apple Jacks, man, like I can remember even when they got soggy, they were really good. So they had good versatility there, and the taste was spot on. It gave you enough of the sweetness, but not to where you're like, oh my goodness, I'm just chewing on raw sugar here.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
So Apple Jacks is going to be my dark horse.
That's and you kind of kickstarted this thing in my head where like if you did it without milk, Apple Jacks is one of my top up there,
right?
Because it's so good without milk. That's one of the snacking ones. In my opinion, Apple Jacks are a better Fruit Loop because
yes, Fruit Loops are a little too sweet for me.
Yeah, a little too all over the place.
Yeah,
a little bit more dialed in. Yeah.
So my spirit of the games, I'm kind of going right down the fairway here. Cheerios. You can never go wrong with Cheerios.
Regular Cheerio?
Any kind of Cheerio. Yep. I mean, they people will put them in sacks for their kids to eat as snacks. You can have them. You can have them with milk. You can have them without milk. They always come in handy. They're just a good, wholesome cereal. To me, Apple Jacks are the Cole Sager of the cereal world. Like super nice. Yep. Everyone loves them.
Yep.
Gets the job done. Comes through in a clutch.
Yeah.
So that's. I think they deserve the spirit of the games. And because they've just been around for so long, they've just been a staple for years. How can you not deny Cheerios?
Cheerios are the number one food most likely to be spread across a high chair tray.
Or the bottom of a car.
Yes, exactly.
Like in the back of a minivan.
Someone has recently had a young child. If you can find some Cheerios right where the seatbelts come out, and
5-tool player of the cereal world.
Exactly.
Cheerios. All right,
true.
That's
a great pick.
That's dark horse and spirit of the games. Now let's go into our podium. So you can start with third place.
This is where the controversy starts. Okay. And I'm a little out there. So this is a recent one for me.
Okay.
But it had such a strong impact, and it builds off of what you had. It's Cheerios Oat Crunch, their cinnamon flavor. So Cheerios, a few years, I would say 4 or 5 years ago, came out with their Oat Crunch line.
All right.
Which is like, I would say a little bit more. It's like
grape nuts.
It's got like the oats in it, but it's got some like higher flavor. It's got more like
it's for an older demographic, if you will.
Maybe a little bit, but it's got a better flavor profile, and it's got some more of the bells and whistles. It's like I don't want to sound like. It's like the movie She's All That.
Oh, okay. I don't know where you're going with this one. This will be good.
Take
me on this walk, Tommy.
And She's All That. Freddie Prinze Jr. takes a bet that he can turn any girl into prom queen. He picks. I cannot remember her name now. The life of me. I just saw it the other day. He picks the quintessential art nerd girl, who everyone thinks is like this loner. Through the magic of movies and the classic story arc, he discovers she's so much more than just her look.
Right.
She has her value extends beyond her quality of person. But then all of a sudden, she comes down the stairs to go to prom, or at some point she gets like the makeover, and he realizes that like underneath like the messy bun and the paint and all the stuff, because she loves to paint, there's this beautiful girl laying the whole way. Just because she doesn't choose to put that up front, it makes her even more attractive, and
it just teaches you a good lesson about life.
Teaches you a good lesson. Yeah. That's what this cereal does, because at its heart, it's just regular old Cheerios. But you know what? The lure of oats and cinnamon and a little bit of sugar sweetness here and a little bit of protein lured me in back to an old original and made me realize the value of just the regular Cheerio, but I still love the cinnamon oat crunch.
All right.
That's what it did for me.
Well, that's a great analogy, the way you tied those two together. I was very impressed with that. Okay, I don't think I'm going to have as good of a journey here with my third place one. But again, there were a lot of candidates. I mean, I had like 9 here, and I had to narrow it down. I'm going to go with Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries.
Yes.
Not just Captain Crunch. You got to throw the Crunch Berries, and then just the original red ones that would like saw up the top of your mouth. But
no pain, no gain.
Damn it, it was worth it. I can remember. I remember hockey camp in 1988 at the University of British Columbia. I just, for whatever reason, was on this Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries kick, and I just built this craving for them. I mean, and they just get the job done, man. Like when you're looking for something a little sweet, and I can't describe the taste, but I love me some Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. And I also think like the Cheerio, they have been around for a while. They have stood the test of time, and they're great with milk. That's another cereal that really does, I think, does a good job of absorbing the milk, and not the integrity of the cereal does not break down too quickly.
I read a description of Crunch Berries as being the perfect example of the Goldilocks theory.
Yes.
Right. So regular Captain Crunch, not enough sweetness, too hard. Oops, all berries, too sweet. Captain Crunch Berries, this one's just right.
That's a good way to put it.
And I mean, Oops, all berries. I mean, the way just the name, right?
Yeah.
Oops. Oh, here's
I don't know if I want to eat anything with the word oops in it.
Oops. Yeah. Somebody getting fired for this, all berries.
It doesn't instill confidence in me.
Exactly.
You're the oops.
Oops. OSHA's going to have a field day with our plant, all berries. Yep.
All right, let's go. What is your third place finisher here?
Okay. So my second now. So that my third was the oat.
Oh, that's
crunch
right. Second place. Yeah. Okay.
So this is where I'm going to cause some controversy here because people are going to start scratching their heads a bit, but I got good reason. My second, Post Cranberry Almond Crunch.
I'm not even familiar with this cereal. I mean, I feel like this is Tia Toomey in her first year coming out of nowhere.
Exactly. So
second place.
This is also a nostalgia pick too.
Okay.
So Cranberry Almond Crunch is I would say the cornerstone in a line of crunch cereals that Post had been around for 20, 30 years. Most kids ignore them because that's usually what your parents go and grab.
Yes.
Right? Because it's got cranberries, it's got almond slivers,
all the fixins.
It's got some of those like hearty grape nut type stuff to it. But Cranberry Almond Crunch got something about it that as an adult I appreciated, as a kid growing up I appreciated. One of my best friends, I have this really close group of core friends from growing up. His name's Scott Morgan Villa. Now we would go over to Scott's sometimes. You go have sleepovers at different houses, but every time we went over to Scott's house, he had four things. He had Chips Ahoy Chewy. He had a drawer full of Gushers. They had Hot Pockets.
Hot Pocket.
The laziest jingle of all time. And then Cranberry Almond Crunch cereal. And we always, and this is the routine. You come in, grab a couple cookies, hang out, maybe a pack of Gushers. Then the meal was the Hot Pocket, and you finished it off with a bowl of Cranberry Almond Crunch.
Nutrition.
And they were smart because they always leave you wanting more because the box is just a little bit smaller, and it doesn't have all the fancy dancing frogs and bright colors. So for like the adults, it's an exercise in portion control too. To this day, I still love it. It's really carb heavy, so I can't eat it as much, but it's one of my favorite cereals. And it reminds me of sleepovers at one of my buddies' house growing up.
All right. That kind of came out of left field for me.
Wasn't
expecting that from you.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. All right. So second place for me, and this was tough because I'm a big fan of this, and I got a box of it in my cupboard right now. That's Lucky Charms.
I knew this one was coming.
Love some Lucky Charms. I love them. I mean, and again, this is one cereal to me that dry, it's fantastic because there's something about if you get the right mixture of cereal and those marshmallows, the marshmallows when they're crunchy are so good. And then if you're going to put milk on it though, you got to get the ratio correct or you're going to ruin the bowl.
Oh yeah.
It's like a fine steak or fine, piece of meat that you have to grill just right in order to get all the flavor out. But I love me some Lucky Charms. And I love the fact that they added, look, when I was a kid, it was like green hearts, yellow moons, green clovers, and purple stars. You had 4. Now you have like 8 different marshmallows.
You got rainbows.
Give them to me.
Yep.
Love it. But I don't want too many in my spoon at the same time. I want a good mixture. But man, when you get it right, it is so good. And it's one of my favorite like guilty pleasure snacks that if I had a good workout that day, I was like, I earned a little bowl of Rice Krispies, or not Rice Krispies, of Lucky Charm. I was looking at my list, Rice Krispies. Didn't make my list, but that is one of the ones I brainstormed. But yeah, Lucky Charms is just a solid Solid snack.
Lucky Charms without marshmallows is very similar to Alphabets.
Yes.
Yeah. Just Alphabets have a little bit more frosting.
Right. Man, those marshmallows are so, when you get a crunchy one, I just love that feel.
And I think it's worth, one of the things I think that, and I was reminded of it now, that I factored into my thought process is what sort of milk does it leave behind afterwards?
That is a very good point, because you'll be like, that looks all colorful and tasty. I'm going to drink that.
Oh, yeah. Like that's some sugar water.
Exactly.
And granted, two of my picks, I don't know. Let's see. Alphabets leaves great milk behind.
Mm-hmm.
Honeycomb, not too bad. That's where the Cheerios Oat Crunch shines.
Yeah.
It leaves behind some great milk. Cranberry Almond Crunch, not so much. Because those are the ones that has like the flakes and that like becomes kind of a mush.
Yeah.
But all right.
We're down to the nitty gritty here.
Yeah.
Top of the podium.
My
cereals.
We go. My top of the podium is one that you've picked already.
Oh, really?
Yes. The cereal championed by one Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch.
That's his full name?
Full name.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know he had that's crazy. All right.
I mean, it was Crunch Berries. Already one of my favorites.
So Crunch Berries.
Crunch Berries, yes.
Okay. Not the mixture, just the Crunch Berries.
Yeah. So it's the mixture of Captain Crunch and Crunch Berries.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's regular Captain Crunch, there's Crunch Berries, and then there's Oops All Berries. I like the Crunch Berries, the mixture.
Yes.
Like you said, it's the sweet spot in the middle. I love it even more now that I know that his name is Horatio. His middle name is Magellan, and his last name is Crunch.
Mm-hmm.
It just adds to the depth of the storytelling there. To me, it's one of those things where, and there's a sweet spot to it too with the milk. And when you start biting into it, if you were a kid and maybe you had irritated gums or something, you got to be careful, because those things they will dice your ish up.
Exactly.
And I mean, but
hazardous eating.
No pain, no game, right?
Right.
I like eating them dry. To me, it left really good milk behind. I would always relish saving a few berries for last. And the whatever food dye they used on the berries started to seep out into the milk. I always remembered anytime were able to get Crunch Berries, it was a beautiful day in the Marquez household or at my grandpa's house. If I was hanging out at my grandpa's, it's not one of those regular ones just because it's usually cost a premium.
Yeah.
But I loved Captain Crunch, and the fact that there's rumor has it that he may not even be a captain.
Hold on a minute here.
There was I saw some press back in the day. Maybe the Washington Post wrote about it.
Blasphemy.
The U.S. Navy maybe commented on it that he was wearing the stripes of a U.S. Navy commander, not necessarily a captain.
Okay.
So,
well,
not necessarily a case of stolen valor per se, but
maybe just a mix-up by the uniform people at whatever cereal company that is.
His last name is Magellan, so it leads me to believe he's either Spanish or Portuguese. So maybe they have a different ranking system. But either way, I would follow Horatio into the high seas of cerealdom anytime.
And you know this from reading Ready Player One, but Captain Crunch has a very very prominent place in hacker lore.
Yes.
A whistle that they offered one time in the bottom of the package emitted a tone that allowed you to hack a certain type of modem. And I'm getting that a little wrong, but that's the gist of the story. But if you haven't read Ready Player One, I'll tell you all about it. So, okay, that was good. I mean, I can deal with that as far as your first place. That's a good one. My first place, Wheaties.
Really?
Going with Wheaties. And I ate Wheaties all the time as a kid, and Wheaties with like a little bit of sugar on them.
Oh, okay.
It's fantastic. And look, as a kid who loved sports, it was also about the box. It's like that guy got his face on a box of Wheaties, man. And you would collect them. Like they had certain collectors boxes with like the teams that won the championship. Like if your team won the championship, you'd go buy that box of Wheaties and you put that up in your rumpus room or your den or whatever, and you celebrate that. But man, Wheaties, and I always felt like, even though I probably wasn't, I always felt like I was eating something healthy. Like if I ate my Wheaties, that I'm going to be a much better athlete and I'm going to be able to run faster. And I was a kid, I didn't know any better.
And it was an idiom used by your coaches back in the day. Like if you were out playing what you normally did, coach would be like, "Oh man, someone ate the Wheaties today." Yeah. You'd be like, "Thanks, coach."
Yeah, love me some Wheaties. I can still see those sitting in my cereal bowl as a kid with just like you take the spoon, you a little bit of sugar, and you just sprinkle it on there.
That
Give it
orange,
a little bit of taste.
that orange
and
box, man.
Oh yeah, and
Iconic.
it is iconic, and it's just like, and how many times did Michael Jordan show up on that thing, or
The Dream Team?
Yeah, the Dream Team was
Yeah.
another one, and I guess they still put athletes on the. I haven't checked out a box of Wheaties in a while, but I'm guessing that it's still the same.
I assume so. Wheaties taught me one of life's great lessons, and that's that not everything lives up to your expectations, but you can like make the best of it, basically.
Yes.
Because I remember seeing that Wheaties box, and we never got them. And I remember thinking like, yeah, that's what's gonna like put me over the top and like make me a better athlete
Yeah.
as young 8-year-old Tommy who was getting excited after the Dream Team was on it. And one of these days, the whole time my grandpa was like, "You're not gonna like them. You're not gonna like Wheaties." I'm like, "I'm gonna like Wheaties. I love Wheaties." And he's like, "You've never had them." He's like, "You're an idiot. Stop." And I'm like, he's like, "Fine, I'm gonna get you a box of Wheaties." I'm like, "All right." And I poured a big old bowl and I ate it, and I realized it wasn't flavored.
Yeah.
It didn't have any sugar on it. And it was just like,
this isn't fun anymore.
This tastes like burning. And
I like the taste. I did, man. Of course, I put a lot of sugar on them, but still.
And I appreciate it now.
Mhm.
And I definitely would like it more now. And I grew to like it then. But it also became one of those things where like, okay, maybe part of the test of you being a Wheaties fan is that like you got to fight through this, an acquired taste.
Mhm.
And that's how that's perseverance.
And what other cereal box is it a big deal to get your face on?
True. Very true.
Has Rich Froning ever been on a box of Wheaties?
Yeah.
We got to make that happen because I think he deserves to be.
Yeah.
Or Matt Fraser.
Or
Tia Toomey.
Yeah.
They should be on a Wheaties box.
I agree.
Like that's, I think it's like a status symbol. I was on a Wheaties box. Like that's pretty cool.
Noticeably absent from both of ours, which is going to cause a ruckus, is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, I never really had that as a kid. I had what are some that you thought about that you didn't put on? Because I had like Rice Krispies, Cookie Crisp.
Oh,
that was a good one.
I had Cookie Crisp.
Corn Flakes. I love me some Corn Flakes. Cocoa Puffs were always solid. Cocoa Pebbles. But those are the ones that came to mind that I didn't put on my list.
So the ones that I had that were close, and one was Cinnamon Chex. So Cinnamon Chex, in my opinion, is a better version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Come at me. Anyone listening. And it was brought to my attention by Allison Scuds.
Oh,
I can't remember maybe she was at HQ or something like that. And she was like, we're talking about cereal because Heber loves cereal.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, have you ever had Cinnamon Chex? I'm like, no. Who eats Chex? She's like, it's like maybe in like a hand mix or whatever. She's like, no, Cinnamon Chex is like a better version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Doesn't get soggy. It maintains its consistency. And I was like, you put a lot of thought into this, so I better figure it out. And I had it. It's delicious. And in my opinion, it was a better version. So, I'm a man of results.
Mm-hmm. I had honeycomb on my list too.
Yeah.
Solid.
Golden Grams.
Yeah.
Cookie Crisp was on there.
Mm-hmm.
These were the near misses. Tricks. That was
just
because that rabbit,
silly rabbit tricks are for kids.
Exactly.
It's iconic.
It jingles, it's just marketing 101. And my grown up near miss is Kashi. They have their Go Lean line, but they have one that's called Peanut Butter Crunch, and they have toasted berry crunch. I like to mix them, because I'm a cereal alchemist.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
And then mix those together. And it's also a really good source of protein because there's 9 grams per serving and a ton of fiber. Mm-hmm. Nothing bad about staying regular. Sean.
No, amen to that.
So those are some near misses for me.
I liked another one was Count Chocula.
Oh yeah,
that was good too.
Waffle Crisp.
Yeah, I never had Waffle Crisp.
Yeah, it was delicious, but you can't get it. It was like there's ones that were scarcity prevented their ability to shine. French Toast Crunch. Was fantastic. Waffle Crisp you can't get anywhere. Waffle Crisp, in my opinion, was almost like a better version of honeycomb, but you just couldn't get it. It was like, this is the great white whale of cereals.
Well, I think with those picks, we can just let the debate begin.
Yeah,
so,
embrace debate.
Exactly. We'd love to hear, your podium picks for anytime cereals. We will try to get back into the realm of CrossFit next week, but we're going to try to mix these fun ones in as well because we have a good time doing it, and hopefully you guys have a good time listening to them, and it provokes some debate. So have at it in the comments or on Instagram or on YouTube. because this will be up there as well. And I want to know what the podium picks for cereals are, because honestly, I'm sure there's some out there I've never tried. I consider myself sort of a cereal connoisseur, and I would like to sample some of these as well.
But we maintain an open mind.
We do, absolutely. So that is going to do it for this week's Podium Picks Cereal Edition. For Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. We'll talk to you next week.